Okay, guys, welcome back to the Strugglebus. So we're going to be doing a couple of reviews today over on KGS. Let me move this. It's getting a little wonky on me. Rose, give me a minute here. I always get frustrated with this chat box. It always wants to snap to a corner, which throws off things on the stream. So let's go on. You can do it. You can do it. Everything's a struggle, guys. Even setting up the chat window. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get over to some reviews. So let me load the first one up. I'm going to be doing two reviews, both with the same guy I've been helping out as a 7K. And so we've got the first game up. And I'll wait for him to join and confirm that he can hear me. And then we will get going. Okay. Hello, Cowabunga. How are things going today? So once Adam joins the game, we'll get started. But while he's waiting, let me go through it and see what this game is all about. So our friend is playing white, and I know he often gets frustrated with white. Looks pretty good so far, though. Nothing too crazy. So where does this game go awry? Okay, can you hear me, Adam, on the stream? Okay, I remember this. I remember this now. Okay, we can go back to the beginning. Are you on stream? Can you hear me? Or do I have to type things out? Okay. I guess I did not make it clear that I was streaming this one. So he is on now, though. Let me take this off. It's a little too hot down here today. Okay, I've got my stand-in desk set up, so I'm standing today. Anyway, so I looked through this one, and it starts off fine. So you are white this game, and nothing too crazy goes on. I'm fine with all this. I like that you tanuki'd from that. That's good. This is all fine. Yep. No issues with any of this. You know, all this. I'm sure there are decisions. I'm sure there are mistakes in here, but I can't find them. Right. This is the type of thing where like my reviews, they'd be like, oh, this is the wrong direction, but all this seems fine to me. I'm unsure about this one because it doesn't really threaten anything, right? Like it kind of looks like it threatens this cut, but it doesn't, right? The cut doesn't work. So I'm not, not a huge fan of this, right? If you're looking to get more strength for that group, what I would suggest doing is maybe jumping out, right? You look at, so it is a response to C9. But I think a better answer to C9 is something just a more forceful move, right? This is something that black is going to want to respond to. And it makes your group stronger. It gets you out towards the center. Right, this move just doesn't really do too much. And if black, he shouldn't. This is small, but if black plays here, and then you want to do something like this, like you're really you know, and then end game stuff, right? And you can't even do this. It's like all of a sudden, do we actually have like anything here? It's awkward at best, right? So, you know, yeah, this group's going to live, but it's going to live tiny, and so yeah, so I'd prefer to come out, especially. So again, I don't think if you played this, I don't think he comes back and lets you get something like this, right? This would be pretty devastating with E11 on the board. So let's see. Um, so yeah, just one minor thing. Certainly not a game-losing mistake. This seems reasonable. You know, so there are multiple options here, right? If you want to go for the lower side, and yeah, typically I'm gonna suggest either go as close to them as you can, or just get a nice extension off of your stone, not something in the middle. So I'm glad that you didn't just slap a stone in the center. This is going to invite a fight. I mean, you have to be aware of that when you play this move. That this, you know, this is going to invite a pincer, right? Because black's pretty strong on the left. And so he can do something like this. What did he play? He played here first, but I think he eventually comes back and pincers, right? How do I feel about this Tanuki? I'm not too big of a fan of it. That left group, I'm having trouble figuring out if we can Tanuki from this, or if that group is just a little too weak. And it kind of looks like this. Oh, let me stop using squares. It kind of looks like A and B are Mii. And so we might be fine here. I'm just my spidey senses are tingling a little bit on this group, you know, Tanukiing away from it. And then he does this pincer. The timing on this is really weird. You know, you just played this stone, so this pincer is a little weaker now. So you jump out. It looks like he's trying to split, and I'd be concerned about this. So looking at this, right, we're gonna label some groups, okay, A, B, C, and D. And I suppose, is it not going to let me label more? I suppose E, right? So lots of stuff going on, but obviously we're looking at the lower left quadrant of this board, right? If you're playing a move like this, you are saying this is the area of the board that I care about. And I agree. I agree this is the area of the board we care about. So let's back it up and look at the groups there. If you look at this and try to figure out what groups are strong and weak and whatnot, A is probably the strongest group here, right? And then probably E. And so we've got B that's kind of floating around, but has plenty of ways to run, so it's not in too much trouble. D is kind of getting surrounded, right? And then we still have group C that I still feel a little uncertain on. So the issue here is you are extending from your strongest group, and that's going to force black to respond somehow. It really doesn't matter how black responds here. It's going to damage one of your other groups that were already a little weak, right? So black could do something like this, which is we probably have to treat this as sente, right? So black's response to your jumping out is to strengthen one of his weaker groups and to weaken one of your other groups. He could also get aggressive and do something like this, right? And you know, this would be pretty aggressive, but it's something he could consider. So for you, you know, I would look at doing something with D or doing something with C. And at this point, I feel like we're, you know, with his playing N8, right? He just played it. I would probably want to do something off of this. And so, you know, maybe we could keep his left group low, or, you know, continue to jump out, slide under, you know, stuff like that. You suggested M6. We can threaten to cut to get strength here. I think that is fine. He'll probably attach, but then you can do something like this and get good shape and then continue jumping out. So there are some options here. Just this is kind of strengthening the wrong group. He goes to split and you jump, which is correct. He attaches. I like this. I like this as an answer to the attach, by the way. And that is fine. And he protects that, and you jump out again. All this seems reasonable, right? We're having this nice little running fight. This gets a little aggressive, and I wonder, I wonder how necessary this is. Backing up, looking at this board. Um, Black doesn't have like any points on this board other than the top, right? He's obviously got a bunch of points in the top, but your bottom right corner is pretty big. This corner is still not much. You've got this corner, so I guess maybe it's still probably a pretty even game because that top is pretty big, but it's still very invadable, very very invadable, right? He's got both of these areas that he can't stop both of them, so we're going to be able to reduce that top pretty easily. So basically, where I'm going with this is this the time to go launch a huge attack? Especially when you also have some weakness here that can be cut, right? Especially with him having the peep at L7, which does come into things later, right? So what would I be looking at here? This is complicated. This is a complicated board. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would be looking at here. I might be looking at this cut right here. Or this peep rather, right? Because we've got this. Not sure we want to get in that fight either. But this could work out. It just takes some reading, right? This is a tricky move. I like it though. I like that you're going with the fight. So let's see. So yeah, so this is the peep that I was worried about, right? And you blocked him, and then he played here. We have to be mindful of this cut, right? We have to be aware that this is still here. And so the last thing we want is for this to end in Gote for us, so he takes that cut, which is I think what happened in the game. I would probably here just play this Hane. This is getting too aggressive. This is just full out war now, right? And this might work, right? This cut might work. It doesn't actually look too bad. The issue is if he gives up his N4 stone and takes this cut, your 3 stones are kind of in trouble. So, and those stones are much bigger than his N4 stone. So, but this is getting complicated pretty quickly. And so I guess right here is the timing to protect this cut. I don't know if you were considering how big of a cut this is, right? That's the main thing I want you working on with your games is, identifying the cuts that need to be protected. And so this is probably the timing to protect it. And yeah, I know he ended up getting it. And so yeah, because with this shape, I don't think you're gonna get cut here with this shape. There might be some Aji with these 2 stones. I'd have to take a look at it, but this feels fine. And this is a situation where even if you give up the marked stones here, just these 2, it's not the end of the world because you got a pretty big corner from this. So I would look at fixing this. I would want to do it. Ironically, so no matter how you fix this, it's going to be an empty triangle. I like this empty triangle better, just because it threatens, it later threatens M7, but not a big deal. But yeah, you connected up here, and I think you were already connected. So I don't think this was necessary. And he goes and takes the cut, and then connects up. So now you've got this liability with these 3 stones, and I don't know what to do with them. I might in this situation, that this bottom just got huge for us, right? And this is certainly going to offset anything that happens at the top. I might aim at just keeping these stones light and just make sure they don't get captured on a large scale. Like the last thing we want to do is to play a move like this and have him surround us. And you're like, well, I'm going to go this way and surround us, and this group just dying and him getting the entirety of the center. If you instead do something, maybe just this, right? And though that might end up losing those stones on a big. I'm trying to think of like some way you could kind of trick him into like maybe playing a move like this and having him just immediately separate you, but capturing the group, capturing those stones on a smaller scale. You know, the stones are already a little heavy, but I wouldn't want to make them. I wouldn't want to make them heavier. This is definitely off the mark. This is not where we want our focus to be. You know, even if we could, or even if Black could cut this stone off, which he can't. That's not the focus of this. So this is just a pure Gote. This does nothing except get us points right now, and it doesn't get us much. It doesn't get us much more than what we already had, right? If we were looking to strengthen this and get points, you know, we could play this, but I still don't like this. Like, this isn't the right area of the board. And so yeah, so this gives Black the opportunity to really go after those stones. He does it a little too close, honestly. I think Black should probably go take that corner, and then maybe do something like this, right? Really get a foothold around those 3 stones. You know, acknowledging that your group on the left still isn't the greatest right now. And so if you start running this way and he starts doing things like this, it really starts to weaken this group over here. So anyway, a little close for Black. But I like this. You know, he already invested a move to go capture those stones, and that's fine. I think this is good timing. Good timing for this. Yep, I like this. Here though, I mean, so this happens to you quite a bit. So you were comfortable making this move, right? You know, with this connection, these 3 stones, you feel like you're in an okay position here, right? That these stones will be okay. And while his move isn't a Tanuki, I've seen you do things like this where like they Tanuki, and you go, oh, well, yes, now I'm definitely going to strengthen this group, right? And like he kind of acknowledged that group, he can play a move away, and it's just going to be what it is over there. And I think you often see it as an opportunity of, oh, he missed his chance to really punish me, and so now I'm gonna fix it. And I look at the moves as the opposite. It's him going, yeah, I can't really do too much of those 3 stones yet. We'll come back to it later. And so I would probably just block here, right? Because if he comes out this way, you can still come out, right? If he had played instead, I mean, he was at liberty to play this last turn. He could have played this last turn, right? And if he did, you would have come out. And so I'm not sure if anything changes when we instead play here. You know, this is fine. This is, you know, Black might just be in a huge amount of trouble here. Just this Hane feels a little painful. He didn't play it. He probably just extended. He played this way. Yep, I like that. And then you protected the cut. And am I okay with that?
I could be brown.
Oh, 1 second.
Blue, I could be...
Oop. Sorry about that. I'm trying to look at that because his corner isn't healthy. So I bet we can get this in Sente. I bet this cut. I don't know. Maybe that's a fight you just don't want to get into, and you're just protecting the cut, and that's fine. Because now his corner might be dead now. I wonder if this kills. I'd have to do some reading. This might just kill. He doesn't have a lot of room in here. Right? If he does something like this, there is room in there. I don't know. That's a life and death problem I'd have to read. But you took the Hane. So I'd be careful here. If you're playing this move, I want it to be a move that kills, right? And you playing the Hane is inherently going to be Gote, right? Because when he plays this, either you can treat it as, you can just Tanuki right now, right? Which is what I would suggest doing, right? Looking at saving stones. This stone isn't worth saving right now. And so this is a fine exchange. This A for B exchange is actually fine for white, but you need to Tanuki here. Because if you Tanuki and he captures, you get to Tanuki again. So you get 2 free moves, right? And so you can do something like this, and if he takes, okay, he gets that, and it's like, and then you get your follow-up. So you get two free moves in a row. If you were looking to try to kill the corner, you got to do this, because otherwise you're giving him eye space. And so yeah, coming back, this is a move that I want you to pay more attention to. And my next video that is coming up is going to go over when to sacrifice stones, and this is like this exact topic I'm going to go over quite a bit because this happens a lot. And this early in the game, you just need to drop that stone. If black wants to take it, it's almost a game-losing mistake. Anyway, okay, yep, that's a little gross. Sure, he's probably alive there. Okay. And yep, seems reasonable. Right, that is definitely the weakest group on the board now. Yeah, I can see why he lost. Right, that top's going to be big, especially with losing the center. So yeah, missing that cut at K7 was pretty big. But honestly, this really isn't a bad game. A little early for this, though, I think. Right, if black played here right now, you would likely respond to it. Black's top is already fairly large. He can let 6 points in the corner go. Right, same thing. If he's playing here, you're going to answer that move. It's bigger. So just a little too early for a first line move. I'm sure you played that and you're like, oh, of course he's going to answer, and he probably does. But again, this it's a little too small. Let's see. And same thing here. Like this is just way too small, and this one doesn't even have any follow-ups, right? So this one isn't even sente. So yeah, just this way too early for first line moves. This is end game. This is an end game move, a late end game move. And I wonder why. That's weird. I mean, you got him, you tricked him, but like obviously that move is very much not needed. Black's already connected there, so. Not sure what that's about. This is also kind of endgamey, but at least this has a good follow up, right? At least you got the monkey jump out of this one. Yeah, I'd be careful here. This doesn't look like sente. I'd have to read it out. But when he's got this stone here, you have to consider the fact. Again, I'd have to read things, but you have to consider the fact that black might just be able to snooky here, because like where are we actually going? All right, what's what's white's plan now? You only have 2 liberties. He's got 3. I don't think any of this works for us. So you just gotta be mindful that this isn't always sente. And that's fine, right? Because it threatens things. I don't like this. Oh, I don't like it so much. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning of the game. That's what I'm going to do. So I don't like this at all. Back, where were we? Here. This doesn't threaten anything. And this is just way too much to give black. This is huge. What I would like to see instead is threaten the cut. Connect this and threaten this. Force him to play it, right? Although I forget that your center's dead. So does this revitalize the center? That's probably. I don't think this is gonna work. Okay. Well, I see where you're going with it, and so maybe I'll take it back. That left though. That left group, I'm getting a little worried about again. But you should be fine. And if nothing else, you've got this really fun ko now. I know you're not a big fan of kos, but something to be mindful of. Because then we do go get the big move. I would have. So this is one of those things. Like I would have liked to have seen you just follow up with this. Right, this was clearly your plan, was to go and make this center alive, and if you were gonna come back to do this, then you can't let him take this stone, right? This was you going, I am willing to sacrifice that position to go connect the center. And so I think you probably would have been okay if you had continued on that. So let's see. we do have that, still have that scary co. So this is a big miss. So we need to look at this, right? And go, is this enough room to get 2 eyes? And it's gotta be, right? That's just so much eye space. Hell, we still even potentially have that as eye space. There's so much room in there, that this is one of those situations. Unless you can read that you're dead there, you need to go away, or play away, and go threaten to connect up to your stones. Playing this just kind of concedes like the whole thing we were doing here. And I'm sure he does not play here. What does he play? What's he doing? He's doing craziness. You gotta connect. Right? You've already invested the stone on the left. So we're fine here, right? We already played the shape point to make sure we've got our eyes. We're fine. So you need to connect. This is just too much, right? We've already got an eye. We're done. And I don't think he can poke those out. So yeah. So life and death getting you again, unfortunately. And then he goes and takes the big cut. So yeah, so this was a big miss. I bet if instead we do this, that this game might even up on us a little bit. Because your bottom right corner is pretty big. I wonder what score estimate would say here. It's probably a pretty close game. And by close, I mean white by 50. That doesn't seem right. Oh, right, because his bottom 2 stones are dead. Your bottom right is just huge. I forgot about the fact that N3 and N4 are dead. So yeah, so this is just big. And then yeah, letting him get this probably makes it a much closer game now. Well, now Square Mary thinks everything is dead, which makes no sense. But anyway, this I don't think this works. Right. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's 4 versus 3, but it's his turn, and he can just go connect. And there's no other, like, you're already surrounded. So this is kind of like he kind of died in Gote. It's not Gote because it forces a, and I don't even know if it forces a response. If I'm being honest, right? So if we play here, what's white do this? And yeah, I mean I guess this could be problematic. He connects up, loses some points. Maybe it's okay. He can't Tanuki, so we'll treat it as Sente, but it's he gets a move that he wanted to get. But yeah, honestly, not too bad. No like huge big things. That cut really hurt. But otherwise, and then the life and death stuff on the left. Those are probably the 2 big things here. Is the cut, the cut here that you didn't come back to fix, and then playing these moves to get that group alive when it was already. I guess you spent another move that wasn't necessary over there. I forget. Did you end up winning this one? It was pretty close, right? It was not close. You won pretty big. So that's why I'm going through. Honestly, I don't see a lot of bad moves here. And I thought you had lost this one, but no. So you won this one. Honestly, not too bad. Same thing, protecting cuts, and yeah, the life and death's always going to get you. We've known that's been an issue of frustration for you. So I'm not going to belabor that too much. So yeah, I'll leave it up to you. I've only got like 15 minutes, so that would feel a little rushed for another review, and I don't think that would be fair to you. But I can go through another one if you want. So it's tough, right? It's the not protecting weak groups and then overprotecting weak groups, right? So there's clearly, I say this all the time. Positional judgment is hard. I think it's a really hard skill, right? But when once we played, come on, why isn't it? Oh, because I'm not on the move tool. Once you played this, I see that as that group's fine. This is fine. Was this move necessary? I don't know. Maybe. I'd have to do some reading. But once you play this, like I consider that group alive, and I'm not considering the Sente, right? If anything, if we're gonna protect anything, go have fun with the Ko, right? It gets you more eye space if nothing else, and it turns on the Ko just to connect up, right? So even if he takes, and you got this in Sente, you've got more eye space in Sente, and then you can go and take your Tanuki and do whatever you want. So that's what I would suggest. Again, so looking at this group on the left, right? If you look at how you want the game to end and what you want your territory to be, you want all those marked squares to be your territory. So don't play inside that, right? Because no matter what, this is going to lose you a point. Play on the outside. No, not that outside. If you're worried about life, play here, right? That at least keeps your all your available potential points on the inside, right? It doesn't eat up one of those points. And because of the Ko, this is probably going to be treated as Sente. He's probably just going to take, and then if you want it to end in Gote, if you want to be 100% sure, then you just play this, and it ends in Gote, and you're 100% alive, and you got 2 more points than you did before. Still not necessarily the greatest, but still a more efficient way of getting alive. And the Ko is still there, right? Like, he's still eventually going to want to come back and fix this. Not right now. Actually, no. Wait a second. He's not alive. He's not alive. He has to come back and fix this. He has to come back and fix this. Actually, when you play here, so it's just Ko for life for him. I didn't even see that. Yeah, and it's a fault, and this is a false eye, right? This right here, false eye. If you win that Ko. So fun, interesting. I missed that one, but yeah. So just play this, and this actually just turns into just a straight up picnic Ko for you, right now. Just like Black cannot lose this Ko fight, and so anything you get out of this is just extra. And you've got great. I wouldn't say you've got great Ko threats, but you've got Ko threats on this board. You've got simple ones, right? You can just do this simple guy, and he might go, you want to know what? It's too big, and then you go like that, and game's just over. Okay, it looks like apparently the game's over anyway because this bottom right is just big. So this one, so this wasn't a bad game. There was one of your reviews that you asked for. I looked through and I saw some moves I didn't like, but I don't think it had to have been this, right? Missing this cut. Because at the point this was pretty big, so playing here or playing here, anything to protect the cut. This is probably the most efficient way, because you can just drive up, right? Yeah, you just keep on going. You can even still do this, and then finally connect. So you get a lot of forcing moves. There's a big driving to Suji there. But something to protect that. But yeah, I think this is probably the best way to do it. So honestly, not a bad game, man. Seriously, you've been playing so much better. I know you said you lost a bunch of games on your other account earlier, but the games you've been playing on here have been a lot better. So for those of you viewing at home, so I've been helping Adam out for a while. And what I suggested that he do recently, because he likes playing a lot of games, but then that makes it tough to focus on the game, like to focus on the games and really give effort. And so I had him recently make a new account to play slower paced, serious games on, and that's something I recommend doing for various reasons. Either just have use different servers or different accounts for. Basically, if you're playing just to play versus if you want to like buckle down and play your serious games. And so on this account is where he takes his time and plays more serious games. And so then, so on your other account, you've lost a bunch, but I'm not too concerned about that, because when you sit down and apply, you play so much stronger. That's not surprising, right? If you have the mental energy and you sit down and you take your time, you're going to play better. But your play recently has just been through the roof compared to what I've typically seen. So And yeah, in this one, like it was funny going through this game. I'm like, oh, this is a mistake and this is a mistake, but it's still way less than what your opponent's doing, and you just blew them out. Even with all these missed things, you just completely, as white, right, which typically in the past has given you trouble. So, but yeah, so so obviously I don't have time for the other review right now, but we'll fit it in. But hopefully this one was helpful, and keep it up, and yeah, and so now I'm probably gonna stream tonight, me playing my own games, because I want today to be a go day. It's been a long, like, 2.5 weeks over here. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna probably do some recording for the next YouTube video, and then I'll be on probably tonight at 8 o'clock to just. I don't think I'm gonna do. I think tonight's just gonna be like relaxed games. I'll probably just play on Strugglebus, and just go and do some not try hard games. I don't think I've got try hard in me tonight because I'm pretty tired. But anyway, so yeah, so enjoy your afternoon, guys, and I will be back hopefully tonight at in 4.5 hours, I guess. So anyway, I will catch you guys later.